I think we can all agree we want 2K23 to be successful. We want it to have the match types, the modes, the roster. We want it to look great, sound great, and feel great. But there is one thing that I think 2K needs to avoid in order to make this game successful. Let's get into it right now. I was going back on YouTube on 2K's website to look at all of the findings and the news and reveals about 2K22 last year. I wanted to look and kind of break down the cycle of marketing and promotion around the game and look at kind of their timeline, because it is now, it's still October according to my watch, but November is around the corner and we still have nothing regarding 2K23. Now hold on, this is because obviously they have moved the game's release to March of 2023. We don't have a specific date, but according to 2K's fiscal reports, it looks like it's going to be around that time in March, right around the time of WrestleMania. I am totally in favor of a March release date for the remaining 2K games that we get about WWE. I like it much better than the traditional October-November release window, simply because I think it gets bottlenecked and it gets overshadowed by other big, giant AAA titles that come out traditionally at that time. So the clock's ticking, isn't it? It's ticking right now of when we could get our first bit of news. When I look back at 2K's promotion cycle for 2K22, the first introductory trailer that we got of Rey Mysterio, where he was doing the 619 to Cesaro, that was back on April 10th of 2021. Feels like a long time ago, and it really isn't. In this room a long time, ladies and gentlemen. So in April, that happened, and then nothing. We had nothing for 4 months. And this is one of the big strategies that 2K really needs to avoid, is the giant gaps in time. The next true trailer of the game, where we saw more superstars, we saw Roman Reigns, we got the little snippets of the entrances, and it got a little more hype, didn't it? That was August 21st, 2021 when they posted it. Then almost exactly 3 months later, we ended up getting the top 10 hit list features and innovations. A 1 minute 39 second trailer that dropped on November 18th, 2021. If you recall, this was an important trailer because it gave us a little glimpse and window of real gameplay, the updated and new controls at the time, my GM, we confirmed that universe mode was there. That was the trailer that got me extremely hyped, but that was 3 months later. You could see at the time of all of this, we are dealing with 3 to 4 month gaps of information regarding the game. And this last one was November and the game wasn't coming out until March. And the last important one that I want to highlight, and there were other trailers, and we've had the trailers they release after the game is launched for a lot of the DLC packs, but leading up to the game's launch, the last big one that mattered a lot, that a lot of our eyes were on, was going to be the ringside reports, where they go more in depth with the gameplay and give us that demo. The first ringside report gameplay deep dive came out February 2nd, 2022. This is where we saw more of a match. We got to see the devs talk about the game, talk about more of the things that they're excited about, but we were still another month away from the game launching. So here's the thing, here's the crux of all of this. I want 2K23 to be very successful. I think it's going to be building upon the foundation of what we have in 2K22, but 2K, in my opinion, needs to ditch this entire concept and model of promotion and marketing. I think it's a failure. Frankly, I'm kind of optimistic because I don't even think that they don't even have the same amount of time available to be able to just give these giant delays in the game news and reveals. But if they go with the same similar approach of giving us large gaps in time with information, I think it's a terrible move and a terrible strategy. It doesn't work anymore. What's in their favor this year around is time. We have a quicker turnaround time for the game. It's going to shrink their marketing and promotional window, in my opinion. And they're going to need, if they do it right, they're going to need to pump out more information quicker, more dense, and more often. Ringside reports, I'm into. I want to see those. I want to see more of those. I want to see them address real questions, fans Q&A. They can be really high level because they're not going to want to reveal too much. I get it. But I want to see a little bit more, especially with 2K23, because I think we're going to see incremental updates and changes, and I want them to be able to highlight what those are and get us excited. The thing to note too, everybody, is that once December hits, for majority of companies and in the video game industry, things go dead quiet. It's holiday season. So by about December 15th, about mid-month, we typically hear zero video game news across the industry. Nothing really gets released. Nothing is getting promoted. Everyone goes quiet for the holidays, and then they ramp up again about mid-January. So we take out essentially a month of time, and when you look back at the time frame of when 2K was giving us information, you could see it was the same thing. And when they did the promotional advertising, the real commercial for 2K22, that didn't get released until January 20th. My early prediction here, based on how their marketing went last year, I think we're gonna get a reveal and announcement around Survivor Series. What do you think? Survivor Series is Saturday, November 26th. It's a big show. It has war games. It's going to be exciting. All WWE fans, they're watching the product on the big show. And that would line up with last year's cycle of when they started to promote 2K22. I don't think it has to be at Survivor Series, but you got the most eyes on the product at that time. It's a great opportunity to be able to promote it, to be able to splash it during Survivor Series, and then follow it up on Twitter and on their YouTube channel to really get the hype and get the promotion started. But they need to avoid the mistakes of the past. I think they need to get ahead of it, and frankly, I think that they need to go maybe 2 weeks before Survivor Series and start promoting the next game. And by that I mean teaser trailer, like we saw the original one with the Rey Mysterio mask and him hitting Cesaro, something like that. It doesn't need to be much, but you need to be able to start dropping it soon, because if they do something at Survivor Series and they give us something to work with a proper teaser trailer, that might be the last thing we see until mid-January, January 20th, if we look at what they did last year. And I think because they have a shorter turnaround time and a turnaround window here, they need to get out a couple of more things and start building the marketing and the hype pretty soon. So end of November, and even if they can, I think that they should squeeze out more information at the beginning of December, then they go quiet, and then they ramp up and go really hard from January 20th all the way through to WrestleMania, when presumably the game will come out. And especially in the new year, that's going to be their optimal time to really get fans excited and start showing us a lot of the game and why it matters. 2K22 was very important to them because they had 2 years of going quiet because of the debacle of 2K20. This mattered, and they needed a lot more hype. They needed to get the devs out there. That's why I think we got the dev diaries, and those were good. But because this is going to be a follow-up to 2K22, and like I said, assuming we're not going to get any crazy changes to the next game and it'd be more of an incremental update, I don't think we see that much push from the devs to be front and center and say, look at all the changes and all the updates to get that goodwill. Avoid the gaps, avoid the long gaps in marketing of your game, 2K, and that should give fans a little bit more excitement for 2K23. See ya.